had a chance to look at the All-22 like I teased. I'm going to tell you the ways that the Cowboys, just to start out, the ways going into this game, we all felt like that you just couldn't let Hassan Reddick wreck you in this game. You couldn't let what happened in Week 9 happen again with Terrence Steele. You had to find a way to maybe help him. And in this case, the Cowboys coaches did a good job of helping him. There were several blocks where he was one-on-one with Reddick. Did fine with that, the single blocks. The one time that was a single block, I have a question. They gave up the sack, but I think there's something happened on that play. I'm curious about it. I need to ask somebody about it. But anyway, the single blocks that Steele was able to make were fine. They helped him by doubling with Pollard. They chipped with Ferguson, and they did the spacing with Ferguson as well. So they had 4 different things that they tried to do with Reddick, and I think it was effective in this game. The question that I had that I want to ask somebody, and I'll throw it out there right now, is there was one time on the sack that Reddick had, and Steele didn't get out of his stance, and he just stabbed with his right hand. But on the play, Pollard was set to his side, and then was looking outside, then looked inside. It was almost like Steele was expecting the double team help on the outside, and he didn't get it. Because the very next play, they did it, and they got a pass that got off for 10 yards to Lamb. So it's kind of like, okay, did Pollard mess it up? Did Steele expect help? Didn't get help? Because Reddick just completely beat Steele off the line for that sack. But I was just curious by the way that Pollard was set to that side and turned and then looked inside. Was he supposed to help Steele? Did they have that really taken care of? And that was a bust.
It's like the corner who thinks he has help over the top of the safety, so he kind of bites a little bit. And he's like, oh, no.
And Steele kind of played it where he played it a little soft.
Right.
Where he didn't really kick. So he's thinking like, okay, if I kick wide, then Pollard's going to have to, maybe there's that problem where you bump into each other and then, it doesn't work. And I just wonder, I need to ask somebody over there.
That was a little scary because of how Reddick went low.
He went really low. Yeah. But I thought it was, overall for Steele, it was really well played for him.
And kudos to the coaching staff for helping him a little bit.
They helped him.
The alignment, no doubt.
Helped him a couple different times, and that's what you got to do. Just don't let the guy go out there by himself. All right, the Ferguson 37-yard shot up the seam. I'm going to give Dak Prescott a lot of credit for this one because this is a really good read. He knows that Nolan Smith, who normally plays as an edge, as a rusher, and Nolan Smith, they dropped Nolan Smith in coverage, and Ferguson's playing in line, so next to the tackle. He's next to Tyron Smith. Dak reads that Nolan Smith is dropping, or he has him in coverage by the way he sees the secondary playing. And as soon as Ferguson released, Dak, you could see his eyes. He knew exactly where they were. So he had an idea that Smith was going to drop. Ferguson ran right by him. The route was right into space. The touch throw over the top. 37 yards. Good read by the quarterback, knowing who was going to have coverage on his guy right there. The Cook strike, another one where Dak knew exactly where he was going with the ball pre-snap. The Eagles going to show cover 2 and then rotate to single high. So they're going to put a single safety in the middle of the field. So right off the snap, Cooks is running by Bradbury, who has no help to the inside. So Bradbury's by himself. Lamb is running a route across the field. Here we go. Here's another design characteristic that the Cowboys have been doing. So the Lamb is, as he's running his route, Byard is the safety that's now having to make that decision about does he play the route underneath or does he play the ball behind? He hesitates for just a second. That allows Cook to get behind him. The blitz pickup by Pollard. Prescott gets the ball off, perfect spot, gain of 30 on the play.
Man,
so
it's a beautiful throw.
Really nice shot of a throw and a catch there.
And you mentioned that design, and it really is. It's beautiful. Yeah. Like that safety is going to be more nervous about that dig coming across with
they call that
Lamb.
Yeah.
And now you have a guy, and it's the payoff of having Brandon Cooks. Because who would have that been?
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Gallup, no thank you. Is that Tolbert? Like, you got Brandon Cooks for those moments.
For those moments right there. All right,
they're really using their weapons great right now.
They are using
the way they're using Ferguson. Is awesome.
Yeah, the thing that I love the combinations when you watch it, you're like, God, that makes sense. that makes sense with the route and how it's married to another route.
Right.
And if they get the protection, they're going to get the ball in the right spot. Okay, now we talk about how to use Cooks. This is the one that last night, this is the sack fumble. That ended up in a touchdown.
That should have been a touchdown.
For the Eagles. Okay, Prescott mentioned this in the post game, that he said that should have been 6 going the other way, not their 6. That should have been our 6. Okay, and he was right about that. This is where I think Dak got a little sloppy with his pocket awareness here, and it cost him in this game. Cooks beats Ringo, the corner, right off the line, and he's open. I mean, open. 4 Eagle defenders are running with Lamb and Tolbert across the field. So now it's one-on-one on the outside. All the other defensive backs are going with 2 of the Cowboy receivers carrying routes. So now you basically have the opportunity. Dak saw this. But what happened is Martin's kind of struggling with Cox there a little bit, and he's trying to kind of push him to his left. But Dak keeps drifting. So Martin's pushing him into where Dak is trying. If Dak just stops and then just pivots back to his right, he's going to launch the ball. But what happens is he's trying to get to the launch point. Cox hits him. The ball's on the ground. Now you have the sack fumble, and now you have the ball going the other way. Dak admitted that should have been a touchdown because he saw what was happening with the routes. I think he didn't
expect Cox to go all the way to the left there.
He just started drifting to his left, and so here's a throw. It's going to go all the way back to the right, and if he would just stopped instead of drifted, he could have probably thrown that ball and it had been a touchdown. All right, Ferguson's miracle catch. I said this morning on Cowboys Break. This is the play that went for 32 yards. First off, if Dak wins the MVP, they're going to show this play as the one that they're like, this highlight play.
It was so beautiful.
I don't know how Prescott got the ball to Ferguson with Byard right in his face. I mean, it is a clean, nobody picked him up blitz. And so
he's being hit, right? Isn't he being hit as he's throwing it off his back foot?
He is into the point where Byard is right there, and I don't know how he got the ball over the top of him. I don't. I mean, when you watch it from the end zone copy, you're thinking that ball's going to get hit, deflected in the air.
Yeah.
All bad thoughts start happening with interceptions. We've seen that before with Prescott and the problems that they've had before with that. But somehow he gets the ball over Byard. And what happens, though, on the other side of that, though, Ferguson just kind of puts his hands up. He's running his routes. He's going to go out and then back to the inside. And then he puts his hands up because Sidney Brown is all over Ferguson on this one.
Could have flagged it.
Yeah, could have flagged it because he's really grabbing his waist.
There's a big size match there.
But he puts his hands up at the absolute right time, and I don't even know how he saw the ball.
Crazy.
But he makes the catch. He's up the field, 32-yard gain right there. Great awareness. The blitz coming in his face, somehow gets it. Ferguson makes a big play right there. All right. I'm going to go in my last minute here. So the Gilmore 4th down stop.
Oh, man, I love that play.
It's beautiful, man.
All right. Now, Gilmore played really well in this game. We talked about in the post game last night about all the coverages that he had to play with Brown. All right. This is an excellent job by Gilmore working through the trash and able to stay with Smith. There's been some questions about Gilmore. Can he really run when you carry him on the crossing or outs underneath? And so they're going to try and pick him from the opposite side. So what happens is Brown's coming across, and now Smith's coming the opposite direction. So they're going to Brown's going to try and pick him. He doesn't get, because Gilmore sees what's happening, and he runs a little bit of shallower route, and that gets him past Brown on the pick. So now he's still able to chase. Kearse and Armstrong get home on a 6-man blitz, forcing the ball to come out low. So Smith has to kind of wait on the ball, like he's coming across, but he waits, catches it low. So as he's waiting for the ball, it kind of slows him up. That allowed Gilmore to even close even quicker on the play and then make the tackle in the open field. So
you know what I felt like in that one? That's how the Niners made the Cowboys feel. Like in these huge moments where you need something to happen,
right.
You catch it barely at the line of scrimmage and get obliterated.
Just suffocating.
They tackle so well, and Freddie Gilmore with a fantastic open field tackle.
Well. Bland.
The safeties, well. I'll tell you what, the safeties played really well.
I thought Donovan Wilson had his best game.
Donovan Wilson played well. Hooker had some moments in this game.
Yes,
too.
He did.
They needed these safeties to play well, and all those guys did. A great job by the defense to to kind of keep this Eagle offense in check. But overall, the All-22 was really a lot of fun to watch, especially against a team like that with Philadelphia. You kind of take advantage of some things.